we will win.
All together, we will win.
All together, we will win.
All together, we will win.
World, wake up.
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 Russia is a terrorist state.
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 Stop Russia, stop the war.
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 My friends, situations like the BRICS games are not uncommon nowadays. These cloud world realities are becoming the normalcy in Russia. And if we are not careful, this cloud world reality is going to become a normalcy in these countries also, in the countries of the free world. In the United Kingdom, in France, in Germany, in the United States of America. We need to be very careful so that our democracy that is not used against us. Sometimes in Speaker's Corner, people would come to me and they would ask me with a smirk in their face, well, if people come to this country and they vote for it to be just like their country, just like the authoritarian country they come from, that's democracy. And in answer to that, I remind you all that Hitler was voted into power indeed. Hitler's coup was unsuccessful. Hitler lost, and he was put in jail. However, later on, when he was released from jail, he won the election. And that, my friends, is when all hell broke loose. There is no chance people would vote for a directly pro-Russian candidate here in the UK or in most places in Europe. A few exceptions, of course, like Serbia, like Hungary. But my friends, they would most certainly vote for isolationists. There are many isolationists countries, many isolationist candidates. And that's very unfortunate. Because Russia knows that Russia cannot win against the united Europe. Russia knows that it cannot win against the united West. However, Russia can win against every single European country individually. On a one-on-one occasion, Russia has more population. Russia has more resources. Now, the Russian military might not be that great, but Europe right now, my friend, it's undefended. There's been a lot of investment lately to develop the European military at breakneck speed. But once again, this is something that will take time. And during this time, the weapons that Europe does have need to be given good use in Ukraine against the Russian terrorist regime. That, my friends, is what they were made for. Arms keep peace. That ancient saying holds true right now. We need to send Ukraine what is needed for an overwhelming victory over the Russian terrorist regime. Not for appeasement, not for a treaty with Putin. That is pointless. Why would you treat with someone who has lied to you repeatedly every single time you try to negotiate with them? It's idiotic. My friends, we have said this many times in the past. This is not a matter of pride, this is a matter of survival. And people need to know what's at stake right now. People need to know. We are here to inform them. If people disagree, we're perfectly fine to answer their questions. We have plenty of time. In the many counter-protests that we have made against our opposition. Now our opposition, we found it lacking. They did not want to ask us proper questions. and did not want to debate with us, with the exception of one or two small occasions. My friends, our opposition wanted to be right at any cost, because our opposition is the success of the Russian propaganda machine. Our opposition is the success of this post-truth reality. Our opposition does not really know what they believe in. They don't really know what they're opposing. But they do know a few key points that have been fed to them by the Russian terrorist regime. For example, no to NATO, yes to peace. No to NATO, no to war. I mean, lovely name, right? Oh, but we're against war. Why would you stand against us? My friends, for the same reason that almost every single authoritarian regime on earth calls itself, oh, People's Free Republic. Oh, we are the Liberation Army. Oh, we are the free people, right? We're the peacekeepers, right? Wrong. They call themselves that to delude people, to lie to people, to make sure that people don't understand what they truly stand for. And they stand there to weaken Europe, to weaken the West, to weaken this country, to weaken it, and make it ripe for the taking by the Russian terrorist regime. That is what they stand there for. That is why they can't answer any questions. They can't be saying the quiet part out loud. But once again, my friends, I do not want to make it seem like we believe everyone who supports our enemy, who opposes us, is automatically paid by the Kremlin. Not at all. In fact, I would say that most likely around 1% of the people who oppose us are actually paid for it. The other 99 are simply useful idiots. Deluded people, people who don't understand what's going on. We've heard it over and over and over again. When people don't understand what's going on, they should not have conviction in their opinion about that topic. But they do, so many times. You know, an old video, an old discussion I've had in Speaker's Corner with this individual. And he kept claiming that the Wagner Group, no, they're not Nazis, they're mercenaries. So I asked him, you know why they're called the Wagner Group? Do you know their leader, Dmitry Utkin? A famous neo-Nazi in Russia. I mean, ex-neo-Nazi. The late Dmitry Utkin was of course killed at this point by the Russian terrorist regime because Prigozhin was speaking too much. You know, Dmitry Utkin was a scumbag. He was a terrorist. He was a war criminal. Same with Prigozhin. They were all war criminals. However, they were killed because they were a threat to the Russian terrorist regime. They were killed because the Russian terrorist regime does not want dogs that do not lower their head when they're told to do as such. They don't want dogs who bite their leash and try to get free from their grip. They want dogs who are meek and submissive. That's what the Russian terrorist regime wants. That is what the Russian terrorist regime wants to make out of every single person on earth. Russia has no borders. That's what they say all the time. What does this mean? It means, my friends, that they will expand. They will expand until they can expand no longer. And that will happen in one of two occasions. Either they reach the end of this world, they reach all over the planet, and they take over the world, or until they are stopped. The only thing it takes for evil to triumph is for good men and women to do nothing. That is why, my friends, we all need to do something. The first step is to know. The first step is always to know. Because ignorance and inaction, my friends, is detrimental, is suicidal, is destructive. Not just for us, but for the whole world. When we put ourselves in the mentality of my house is the only thing I care. If the neighbor's house is burning, I do not care because it is not my house. We put ourselves in a suicidal mentality. When your neighbor's house is burning, you better care, because the fire could spread to yours in a heartbeat. But that's not even the only situation in which you should be caring. That, my friends, is why we have law enforcement. That is why we have a society, why we have ambulances, why we have buses, public transport. That is all part of something we don't notice in our day-to-day life. Civilization. That civilization is under threat right now. With excuses and lofty ideals and word juggling, like what the Russian terrorist regime is saying. They say the West is weak. They say the West is rotten. They say the West is about to fall. They say it's degenerate. They say it's evil. But what can be said about Russia? Why is it that people go to the West and not to Russia to live their lives there? Silence is all we get from our opposition. They know they are in the wrong. Or at least the leaders do. But the useful idiots who truly believe that the Russians are in the right now, that Russia is a righteous country, we invite you and we challenge you to explain why. Now, it will never happen, and we know it will never happen. Because the people who support Russia, they don't have reasons to support Russia. They have feelings to support Russia, feelings that are not really theirs, feelings that have been inculcated in their heads by those who are masters of propaganda, those who know how to mess with a person's mind and how to convince them of something that they don't truly believe in at all. That, my friends, is why we stand here. Because our enemy is dangerous, our enemy is powerful, and our enemy is active. Unlike those isolationists who claim that Russia is not their enemy, unlike those isolationists who claim that the only thing that matters is within their borders. Nonsense. Every single country in the world needs relations with other countries. Not a single country can prosper without those relations, without that influence. To give up on that influence, to give up on that power, is foolish and suicidal. And that's exactly what these Russophiles all over the earth are trying to achieve. Suicide. A mass suicide of the West. They know they can never beat the West with conventional means. They know that their military is nothing compared to the Western militaries united for a purpose. That is why they're trying their best to make sure that the West destroys itself, seeing that nothing else can take it down. Conviction, my friends. That is what we need to unite around. Conviction in our values, conviction in our purpose, and in our future. That is our rallying flag. That is why we stand here. That is why you all should. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава нації!
Смерть ворогам!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Героям України тричі!
Слава! Слава! Слава!
Ворогам України тричі!
Смерть! Смерть! Смерть!
Давайте ще раз. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава нації!